Sicilian defense, open, Pelikn and Sveshnikov, Chelyabinsk variation, 9, b7 10.bx f6 bx f6 11.c3 bg5. Balanced, neither player ever had an advantage. That game was pretty competitive. Both players had an amazing opening. That was an incredible middle game by both players. Sharp games are frequently the result of starting with the king's pawn, since it dominates the center and frees up the bishop and queen on the light squares. The c-pawn in the Sicilian defense controls the d4 square. Nf3 moves the knight toward the center in anticipation of a pawn push on d4, where it will be ready to retake the piece if black captures on d4. Nc6 aids in maintaining control over the d4 and e5 squares. d4 offers to trade a center pawn for the c5 pawn in exchange for more control of the center and quick development. Cx d4 provides black 2 key pawns while giving white only one. Nx d4 recaptures the pawn and activates the knight in return for having one central pawn versus black's 2 central pawns. Nf6 develops the knight toward the center and attacks the undefended e4 pawn. Nc3 defends the e4 pawn and puts more pressure on the d5 square. e5 takes space in the center and immediately attacks the knight on d4. Ndb5 gets the knight away from danger, and threatens the strong Nd6+. d6 stops the threat of Nd6+, supports the e5 pawn, and allows the light-squared bishop to develop. bg5 pins the knight on f6 and threatens nc3 d5. a6 kicks the knight off of the active b5 square. na3 retreats the attacked knight. It will look for a new square on c2 after white plays c2 c3 or c2 c4. b5 gains space on the queen side and threatens to fork the knights with b5 b4. Nd5 places the knight on a center square and attacks the pinned f6 knight. b7 develops the bishop and prepares castling. bx f6 captures the knight, attacks the bishop and increases white's control over the d5 square. Bx f6 captures the bishop without doubling the f-pawns and opens up the e7 square for black to use. c3 controls the d4 square and opens up the c2 square for the knight on a3. bg5 places the bishop on a diagonal where it controls some important central squares. This mobilizes the knight, allowing it to control more of the board. This activates a rook by developing it off of its starting square. By growing a bishop from its initial square, this activates it. Castling gets the king to a safer square, out of the center of the board, while also developing a rook. Castling kingside tends to be safer because the king is further from the center. Castling gets the king to a safer square, out of the center of the board, while also developing a rook. Castling to the same side of the board as the opponent avoids some of the attacking associated with opposite side castling. Games Master. It is the final book action. What I would have advised is that it is ideal. It is a fair deal after all captures. That's good. Backs off. It is ideal. This develops a bishop off its starting square, getting it into the action. It is best. Very precise. It is best. This keeps the material balance in check with good commerce. It is ideal. Recaptures. This poses a threat to strike a knight. It is ideal. This suggests exchanging items of equivalent value. It is ideal. There was only one good move in that position. It is a mistake. This wins a tempo on a rook while simultaneously developing a piece. That's good. The rook is now in a safe position. A passing pawn could be promoted as a result of this. It is quite good. This keeps the material balance in check with good commerce. It is ideal. Backs off. It is ideal. This requires an open file, a typical technique for rook activation. It is ideal. This reveals an assault and puts a pawn in danger. It is ideal. Recaptures. This poses a fork piece threat. It is ideal. A very strong play. It is excellent. Balanced, neither player ever had an advantage. That game was pretty competitive. Both players had an amazing opening. That was an incredible middle game by both players.